Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday, March 16th, 2026. You have happened upon a gathering we call Where the Rubber Meets the Road. I'm Rana Marin, and I am so glad to see you all here today. This is the hour where we take concepts and ideas from A Course in Miracles, and we talk about how we apply them to our daily life. Today, our focus is on the phrase, I need do nothing. And we were chatting before the meeting. Amy said, I'm so glad we're looking at this today. And I thought, oh, that's the blessing I was looking for, because as I was looking at it over the weekend, the mind, right? Not a God thought, but an ego thought said, this isn't going to be any good. You go back to this one all the time. You've talked about this so many times before. And I just noticed it and let it pass on by, you know? An old version of myself might have actually changed what I had thought was a topic based on that thought. So I'm grateful to be free of those thoughts today, and I'm grateful to see all of you. I'm going to read a little bit from paragraph 10, which is on page 701 in the Purple Book. I'm going to play us a song, and then we'll come back and I'm going to maybe read a little bit more or talk a little bit more. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. So proud of myself for that. Growing and changing. But this is the song that came up for me. Oh, first I'm going to read this. So paragraph 10. To do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. Into this place, the Holy Spirit comes and there abides. He will remain when you forget, and the body's activities return to occupy your conscious mind. But there will always be this place of rest to which you can return. All right, so now we're going to play a song, which is going to give us about 5 minutes of a little bit of inquiry. So I'm excited to share this with us. We may have listened to it before, but that's okay.
What is to be done, O people of faith? I no longer know my name. Not Christian, not Jew, not fire worshipper, not bound to creed or flame. Not of the east, not of the west, not of the land or sea, not carved from earth, not born of wind. This form is not me. I slipped beyond the edges of form, beyond the reach of sight. What I was fell silent once I entered the night of light. One I seek, one I know, one I see, one I call. No two worlds remain for me, only one, only one. Not of heaven, not of dust, not of being or breath, not of this world nor the next, not of paradise or death, not of Adam, not of Eve, not of garden or flame. My place is the placeless now, my trace has no name. either body, either soul, no boundary remains. I belong to the soul of love where nothing else explains. One I see, one I know, one I see, one I call. The two words faded into one, only one, only one. He is the first, he is the last. He is the hidden, he is the vast. No name I know, no sound I claim, only the call beyond your names. Yeah. Yeah. Amen. I drank from love's unending cup. The world slid from my side. No work remains, no task, no role, only dancing in the slide. If once I lived a breath without you, I repent that borrowed time. If once I touch your nearness here, both worlds fall under my feet in right. One I see, one I know, one I see, one I call. I am not me, I am the lonely one. Drunk in this world, I have no tale to tell except love. Oh, except love.
That was so neat that that song kind of just showed up. I'm not sure, have we heard that one before? No, Cindy,
Remember
thank you.
hearing it before?
Yeah, I don't think so. And so I was just blown away how there were some really poignant pointings to exactly what we're going to talk about today, that I need do nothing. There's no efforting, there's no planning. Oh, to wish that that were true in the physical world. That's when I first heard that. I was like, what do you mean I don't need to do anything? And what I understand today is the who that needs do nothing is this personal self identification. There may be things that are to be done in this world of illusion, but first and foremost, if I show my willingness to pause and remember that I'm not doing any of this alone, right? I am not separate, that there is a guide. And that's what this has been about for me, is about guidance, is what struck me this weekend. And how much desire and devotion does this one have to ask for guidance? Usually I'm pretty good about asking for guidance when I'm disturbed. But it occurred to me, why don't you ask up for guidance when you're not? Why do I wait until the mind and body is on fire before I spend time in the holy instant, in the reminder that I need do nothing? So that's what I've been playing around with, is, just kind of asking, even during times of non-disturbance, what's next? So I'd like to read a few things from this beautiful section, section 7, I Need Do Nothing from chapter 22. And I'm just going to jump around a little bit with some things that felt very poignant to me, starting with paragraph 2. You have made much progress and are really trying to make still more, but there is one thing you have never done. Not for one instant have you utterly forgotten the body. It has faded at times from your sight, but it has not yet completely disappeared. Now, this is key. This stood out like, bang, this next sentence. You are not asked to let this happen for more than an instant. But it is in this instant that the miracle of atonement happens. Afterwards, you will see the body again, but never quite the same. And every instant that you spend without awareness of it gives you a different view of it when you return. So I love this, right? This idea that the mind has created, that it's like, I'm not awake until I no longer see bodies, till I no longer see separation. That's kind of a fallacy. It's about the devotion and the willingness of pausing in any moment and asking to see differently. And that's where separation and illusion are lifted in that instant. And we get a different view the more we're willing to do this. That's what's happening in my world. We had some weather going on here this morning, and Kylie had a doctor appointment scheduled for 9:30 in Charlotte, which is about a 45-minute ride. So all weekend we were getting these weather forecasts about tornadoes and all these things, and of course, I've shared with you before, Kylie's caregiver can be kind of a fear monger sometimes. So she was like on me, we're watching that weather. We're watching that weather. So she showed up this morning at 5:45 and whipped open my bedroom door and said, the tornadoes are coming and we're not going to that appointment. So I calmly got up and got a cup of coffee and I went on the little website and I canceled the appointment. And there was nothing on the inside. I was like, I'll just call them at 8 when they open. All the schools are canceled around here. So that little voice that's like, you're doing it wrong, Rana. You're supposed to show up for appointments. The good girl, the one that follows all the rules and the instructions. I noticed her not screaming this morning. That was really cool. And as other people have been talking about weather today and everything, I'm just like, I love weather. Bring it on. I don't need to do anything about it. If I let something like weather ruin my day, I'm creating my own suffering. So a parade gets rained on, right? That's what rain dates are for. So an appointment gets canceled. That's what rescheduling is for. But I really noticed the lack of disturbance in this situation this morning, the lightheartedness, the like, okay, let's party and make brownies today. Way different for this very serious personal identity that I carry. At no single instant does the body exist at all. It's always remembered or anticipated, but never experienced now. So when I go to that, I need do nothing, I'm in that place of the present moment, the now. And if Patricia listens to this later, thank you for reminding us of that, Patricia, over and over. It's the now. So in this instant, formlessness disappears. And it's not about my eyes, right? It doesn't mean everything's just going to blend together. That's body eye seeing. What this is pointing to is heart seeing. It is impossible to accept a holy instant without reservation unless Just for an instant, you are willing to see no past or future. So that's that beautiful moment where I just pause and I say, okay, your will be done. It's not a catastrophe. So then I'm going to jump down to paragraph 6. Your way will be different, not in purpose, but in means. A holy relationship is a means of saving time. One instant spent together restores the universe to both of you. You are prepared. Now you need, but remember, you need do nothing. It would be far more profitable now merely to concentrate on this than to consider what you should do. So this is asking me to practice the presence of God in a moment. Stop what you're doing and be present. When the light comes at last into the mind given to contemplation, or when the goal is finally achieved by anyone, it always comes with just one happy realization. I need do nothing. Here is the ultimate release that everyone will one day find in his own way at his own time. And so that's that place where it came to me. It was like, Rana needs do nothing. Rana needs to be open. She needs to open her heart in this moment and abide as self for a moment to let the path be cleared. Whatever that may be. It may be a physical activity. It may not be. It may be nothing. Am I willing to follow the guidance, no matter how crazy it may seem in the moment? Believe it for just one instant, and you will accomplish more than it is given to a century of contemplation or of struggle against temptation. There's not a lot of effort required in practicing the presence of God. In fact, it's a subtracting, right? It's a letting go of everything. To do anything involves the body. And if you recognize you need do nothing, you have withdrawn the body's value from your mind. Here is the quick and open door through which you slip past centuries of effort and escape from time. So these are time savers. Since time is only a concept and doesn't really exist, this brings us to that place of presence again, where there's no past and no future. To do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. Into this place, the Holy Spirit comes there and abides. He will remain when you forget and the body's activities return to occupy your conscious mind. But there will always be this place of rest to which you can return. This quiet center in which you do nothing will remain with you. For from this center will you be directed how to use the body sinlessly. And my note says, with love. How to use the body with love. It is the center from which the body is absent that will keep it so in your awareness of it. So it's just like lots of moments, returning to that abiding presence. And abiding has been the word of the week for me. I just keep hearing it everywhere I go, everything I read. And so I just, I've taken a few moments this weekend and say, I am willing to abide. Please assist me in abiding more. Help grow my trust that this is the path to love and faith. So that's my open today. I'm excited to hear what you all garnered from this section or anything that's on your heart today. And I'm grateful to be starting with Andrew.
Thank you, Rona. Hello, everyone. I love you all. It's good to be here. Rona, you did a great job covering that entire section. Now, I studied the FIP version, which is very similar, except it only has 8 paragraphs. And so I couldn't really keep up with what you were reading. But the only thing I could add to what you talked about was from paragraph 1, at least in the FIP section. This is how it reads. You still have too much faith in the body as a source of strength. What plans do you make that do not involve its comfort or protection or enjoyment in some way? This makes the body an end and not a means in your interpretation. And this always means you still find sin attractive. No one accepts atonement for himself who still accepts sin as his goal. You have thus not met your one responsibility. Atonement is not welcomed by those who prefer pain and destruction. Now, I had a little trouble understanding this first paragraph because, for one thing, the Course tells us many times that there is no such thing as sin, there's only error. And yet he talks about sin and just taking care of the body, it sounds like, it is considered a sin. So I was confused and I looked up the meaning of sin in the dictionary, and it said sin is a transgression against divine law. So really, when I thought about that, the only sin would be to believe that the body is real, because we aren't bodies. The Course tells us we are not our bodies. Our bodies are just illusions or dreams, hallucinations. But so the only sin is the belief that we are bodies separate from God, and that's only an error, not a real sin. So with that in mind, if you can forget the body for an instant, you could realize the atonement. You could possibly know yourself as you truly are, which you already touched upon. And that's really all I can add to what you said. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. I have, anytime it says sin anywhere, I have the word separation. And it just keeps reminding me over and over, like if I think I'm a body and I think you're a body, that just overlays something where love gets blocked. And so it's in that moment of realizing, oh, I'm still seeing all this as separate and different and divided and comparing. So that's how I use that. But thank you for reading that first paragraph as well. Very important. Hello, Cindy. Come on in.
Hello, Rana. Thank you for the invite. John, could you please put your mailing address in the chat for me, private or otherwise? Because I'm ordering books right after this, and yours is the only address on my list that I do not have. Thank you. Now that is no longer on the top of my mind, the line, I'm going to try not to open the book. My understanding sitting with this, everything everybody said, thank you. But they said if you could, in the forgetting of the body for just a moment, the holy instant, when you come back into this feeling like I am a separate body, things are different. Right? That's the point. And so I was sitting, oh, chills. Oh, I love when I get chills, Chuck. The chills just went through my body, so I'm going to slow down for a moment. So In Cindy's story, I've had lots of these like a lot of these moments. Um, the first crazy experience um, after 9/11, where after a number of days of intense PTSD, like everything just dropped and the world got quiet and I knew everything was okay. Direct experience. Um, I've had a number of moments during enlightenment intensives where I went from being upset to just beautiful, quiet peace and joy. Um, I remember when I dabbled with being a Christian for a number of years, and the first time they laid hands on me, I just laid in the Holy Spirit, like as in a trance. There was no sense of a body, just this peaceful, easy feeling, right? Um, I'm a Reiki master, and I can remember once you're given your Reiki. I can remember those experiences opening it up like into another world. I was baptized as a Christian as an adult, and even though, like, to me, there's nothing special about being a Christian, and yet when I kneeled in front of this, um, the Episcopal priest and allowed the water and the prayer, like my everything in my body went away. Um, the guides teach that once you receive the attunements, they're with you forever and you can access them. My enlightenment master in the dyad community says once you've had an enlightenment experience, it's always available to you. You could just reach out, touch it. Um, I think I was sitting with this, you know, knowing that we were having this conversation. And I'd like to, oh, another chill, which is gorgeous. I'd like to suggest that all of these moments um, in our lives are not special in the sense that, oh, look at this mystical and magical and something outside of me touched me. I'm starting to understand that there are moments simply when the veil dropped. And it's not that something outside of me occurred. It's just these moments of experiencing the truth of who I am. And then the veil gets lifted again. And relative to this teaching and how often we talk about being in the pause and letting go of thinking ourselves out of the box, more and more I'm recognizing that accepting that these moments in linear time can be accessed here. I've had them. They're in my memory. And this teaching more than, I mean, we've all read this section, at least. I don't know how many times I've read this section, but this deepening into this understanding that if I had this experience once and you only really need one of them, I can choose over and over and over again to use that as my anchor instead of the fear story. And that the more I do, the thinner the veil's going to get. And I could choose when I feel like I'm in linear time to tap back into that. And so that pointing is well, I'm feeling it in this sense of a separate body now. That pointing is magnificent to me. And I don't even think it needs to be all that special. I'm looking at Chuck again, and one of my favorite Chuck stories. Chuck, are you with us? One of my favorite Chuck stories, I don't know if he's frozen, is when there was a whole bunch of chaos over getting new tires for his ex. And he was like, screw it, I gotta leave. And he just drove away for a little while. And when he came back, the problem was fixed. How often have we just walked away from our problems and let them fix themselves? And I think this is a big part of um, the invitation here is how much time can I be in the rest? resting away from thinking that Cindy separate from the divine even exists. Never mind, she has to tell God how to fix this moment in time, you know. So that's really where I am with this. And it makes me laugh too. What part of Cindy, who's separate from God, needs to tell God how to do this moment? You know, that's pretty funny, right? So, when I rest away from thinking that Cindy knows something that God doesn't know, and I have to solve this problem because, it's too much for God to handle, um, and I let back and I allow God to flow through this sense of, Cindy, this is the unique individuated expression of the divine, and therefore already knows what needs to be done in this moment. The more that veil, I think, thins. So that's what I'm sitting in right now. Thank you. And thank you,
Thank you,
John.
Cindy. It's such a good reminder that I don't have to reach outside of myself to get this grace. It's already here. It's being carried with me every moment throughout the day as I walk through this illusion and can be tapped into, as was just mentioned, anytime. And it's just a series of forgetting and remembering for me. And that's why I like to come to these gatherings because I get a good reminder every day, you know, of what truth is.
By the way, if there's nothing to do, I don't have to worry about my problems either, eh, Cindy?
Tell us more, John.
Oh, well, let's start. I love you, and I love you, Rona, and
I love you.
I love the state you're in. The way you're showing up. It's not what comes off your tongue; it's what comes out your heart that I'm really picking up, and I'm just so freaking grateful. I don't know what else to say, but I love that I'm here, and I see Amy got a hand up. And I just noticed Amy used quoting from Ken Wapnick, and I wondered if she was a Ken Wapnick student because I used to go down and see Ken quite a bit too, down in Roscoe. So anyway, I love everybody here. It's yours, Amy.
I love you, John. Thank you. Hi, Aim.
Hey, thank you, John. I'd never met Ken, but I wish I could have met him. He sounds like a really special human being, really gentle man. What I do remember is that he was going on a plane. He was thinking of becoming a Catholic priest, and Helen had given him the transcript for A Course in Miracles, and he was on a plane and reading it, and he essentially decided at that point he wasn't going to go to become a priest. He was going to go back and work with Helen. And I don't know if I have that story right, but I've always found that to be really powerful.
He was a monk. He wanted to be a monk.
A monk, right? Okay. So this is really wonderful. As Rana was reading this to me, I thought about how much stressed out I am about packing. So I have to pack for 12 days. And I almost hate to travel because I hate to pack. And did I ever think to ask for help in packing? No, no. Um, and there's just, because I've been in these situations where I forgot to pack something like my bathing suit or something like that, and then I just get down on myself so much for forgetting and not doing the job right. So that helped me in this immediate moment to just ask for help in doing this packing thing. And then guess what? If I leave something out, then I ask for help again, right? It's not like it's a big deal. It just goes from one thing to the other. But one of the things I really love, and you may have read this, but it tells you what it means to do nothing. in paragraph 10. And I really like that. And it just says to do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. And into this place, the Holy Spirit comes and there abides. And I love that. I love that. And there will always be this place of rest where you can return. And this quiet center in which you do nothing, italicized, will remain with you, giving you rest in the midst of every busy doing on which you are sent. And from this center, will you be directed how to use the body sinlessly or without feeling that it's separate, right? And it's from this center in which the body's absent that you will keep it so in your awareness of it. Cindy and all of you that are doing the meditation class with Cindy with Adyashanti, this is telling you how to meditate. And Adyashanti's open awareness meditation, where you just sit in quiet and open awareness. And what arises, and you look at it from the I am center, which is what the altar of the Holy Spirit is. That's the I am awareness. So it's telling us right there how to do it. I love that. So thank you, Rana, for this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy. It does tell us how to do it right there.
Because who is it that is doing nothing? You know, it sort of asks, who's doing nothing?
The other thing that occurred to me when you were sharing, Amy, is that, and I think Cindy mentioned this recently, is you can't ask too many times for help. Like we don't have, you only get 10 asks, you know, you just can't do it. And it also reminds me of, you know, if Holy Spirit, God, presence abides within this one at all times, and I hardly ever engage with it or speak to it, it's like having your best friend walking with you somewhere and you don't say anything to them. You just ignore them all day. Oh, I love you, come with me, and then you don't talk to them.
That's so true. That's really good. And one last thing. I don't know how many of you have seen The Big Lebowski. Any of you seen The Big Lebowski? The dude abides.
Right.
That just is what came to me is the dude abides. I love that. Anyway, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a great movie.
Thank you, Aim. And Dago, come on in.
Hi, everyone. So great to be here. I love surrendering. That's what my heart just loves. That's just all I want is just surrendering, and giving up and just giving up everything. And I've been reading A Course in Miracles, which I love. And I just want to read a few of these. It's just really I loved. It says, do not be afraid of the ego. It does depend on your mind. And as it does depend on your mind, and as you made it by believing in it, so you can dispel it by withdrawing belief from it. And then I continue on where it says, but having accepted the errors as yours, do not keep them. Give them over quickly to the Holy Spirit to be undone completely, so that all their effects will vanish from your mind and from the sonship as a whole. He will teach you to perceive beyond belief, because truth is beyond belief, and his perception is true. So I just love that, because that just speaks so clear to me that he will teach me to perceive beyond belief, beyond what Indigo believes, and that is what the truth is. And that the Holy Spirit will do it for me. Will do it for me, so that I can just surrender. And that's what I need to do, or that's what, just surrender. So I just love that. Thank you.
Thank you, Indigo. So, before we go to Josephine, I just wanted to read the paragraph that I wrote this morning as I was contemplating some quotes. The human body has eyes which only perceive, they do not truly see. There is no real wisdom in perception. One requires the vision of awareness found in the seeking and abiding of self. There is truth and silence drop into the heart. So it feels like it was exactly what you were just pointing to. And Dago, thank you. I've just begun doing some contemplations, writing and things again. And you just confirmed for me that I'm moving in the right direction with it. So thank you, my dear friend. I appreciate you. Josephine, happy Monday. Come on in.
Yeah, this lesson is reminding me of, or teaching me on how to ask for help. My sense usually is that I ask for help for big things, big decisions I have to make, difficulties that I'm going through. Never do I think of asking for help for what I would call trivial things, small things like, what shall I do today? Or I have a conflict about, but simple things, maybe even menus. Never would I think of going to Holy Spirit or asking for guidance for such trivia. And yet I remember reading about Helen and her relationship with Jesus, that he was always giving her guidance about trivia. Once she needed to buy a coat, and that story stayed with me. In New York, some of you may know Klein's, and he told her, go to Klein's, go to such and such a floor, and in X rack, you will find that blue coat that is just for you. That blew my mind. I was just beginning to study the course, and I have forgotten that totally. Then there's another instance where I did go to the Casey Institute to hear Wapnick. He was featured as a speaker, and a friend of mine was also a friend of his, and we had lunch together, and it was wonderful. One of the women at the lunch table was just so, again, learning about the course and such a stickler for every lesson, doing it exactly and timing herself when it said 5 minutes or, and he laughed and he said no. He discouraged her from being so intense about and so literal. Then he said something that I always remember. He said, no, about relating to something, the mother comment. He said, just know what the course teaches. Know it's true. Live your life. If you have a headache, take the aspirin. If you have wealth, enjoy the joys that wealth gives you. But just remember that this isn't true. And I thought, oh my gosh. So there's a lot of learning that if I pay attention and act on it, would make life for me so much easier in in uniting my behavior, my thoughts with Holy Spirit, bringing Holy Spirit in on my life day to day, minute to minute, doesn't have to be on my major moments in life. And also, don't knock yourself down because you are not being pure or holy or good or following the course. Enjoy life. Just know it isn't real. I had all those thoughts today with this lesson.
Thank you, Josephine. I love that. You know, God cares about the trivial, right? It's all, God is in everything I see. I may still, Livy, your thunder, but I've been doing what Livy suggested a few weeks ago. When I go in the closet, I say, what are we wearing today?
Ah,
You know, and it does seem like something trivial, but I'm also finding it like, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? You know, it's really helpful and take it. And I'm amazed that something comes, right? And I just have to trust that the next thought is a God thought because I asked for it. So thank you for your share today. And I love that gem of a story about Ken Wapnick, Josephine. Thank you. We always take ourselves too seriously. So, Sandra, come on in.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for this lesson. I love it, this reading. I say that every time, but it's true every time. And especially hearing how you read us through this, Rana and Andrew. That was so nice to hear your personal perspective on this and how it relates to your life. So what prompted me to raise my hand was just listening to all of you and reminded me of my own little story about asking for guidance. And I know I've told you before, but maybe I can tell you again because I might have a little different take on it now. But anyway, I would ask for guidance all the time. I would pause. I tried to do meditation, wasn't very good at meditation, or what I thought was meditation. And I remember just saying, just tell me what to do. You know, I can't figure this one out at all. Just tell me what to do. And what came into my mind very clearly, it wasn't as specific as what coat to buy or anything like that. I wish I would have gotten that answer, but I didn't. That what came in, and it was definitely not my thought. I can tell the difference. This was a direct message. It doesn't matter what you do. It's who you are while you're doing it. And that helps so much. It was like, oh yes, I know what it's telling me. I don't want to say he. I knew what I was being told. And it was just, it's like to do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. And I think that's the one Amy was reading. And what I knew is that place of rest wasn't rest as I typically defined rest. It didn't mean stop doing. It meant keep on doing. Of course, the body's going to do things. But while you're doing it, there's a place of attunement. Attunement, as we heard from the guys, there's a place of understanding. There's a vibrational accord with the truth, so that while I'm doing it, I will automatically be doing what is needed, and it will come from love, not from fear, or those three things we always do. We always want comfort, protection, or enjoyment in some way. It will come so naturally. And so the only job I have is to always place my attention and have the intention to be always coming to know who I am while I'm doing it. And I don't have to stop and pause. I can stop and pause to get that, to tune in the dial. But it's not just in the stopping and pausing or in the resting, it's also in the doing. In the doing, I can be at rest. Sounds kind of wrong, but it's right. In the doing, I can be love. In the doing, I have access. We have access. I'm just so amazed at that we have access to all the wisdom and the power and the love that exists. And so I love what Josephine was saying. We don't have to stop doing. We're not going to stop doing. But we can be abiding while we're doing. They're not two different things. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you for throwing. It's just perfect. I came upon a real clarity on a belief I had carried for quite a while until recently. And it's that asking and allowing for guidance meant sacrifice. There was a part here that said if I really start being devoted, if I really try to make this the number one priority, that means that I'll have to sacrifice something. And now I know that that is not true. It's not true at all. In fact, nothing is sacrificed. So much is gained. Freedom, liberation, all of those things, clear-mindedness, love, all those things start to come through now. So I'm grateful that the fear in that area has subsided, that I was going to be punished, right, for being a bad girl, a bad personal identity. It's so silly now. Thank you for reminding me about that, Sandra.
Thank you. You remind me of me.
You are me. Cindy, you're next.
Thank you. Two things quickly that came up while I was listening to Sandra. One, I've often heard people quote somebody quoting St. Augustine, so I wanted to be clear, which was the simple quote, love God and do what you want. Somehow that seemed to be lighting up for me as I was listening to Sandra. The other thing was a teaching that I've heard Paul talk about more than once, which I loved. The guides teach these attunements, and I find myself saying them on a fairly regular basis. I like the way it feels when I do. But he said that I think it was Noah, someone that works for him, asked him, how long do we have to do the attunements? Because that's feels like you're doing something when you sit here and say, Word, I am Word, and I'm in the upper room. And he said, in until you know them. He's and then he's like, for instance, when I walk into a room, I don't look at everyone and say, Hey, I'm Paul, I'm bald. It's quite obvious that there's no hair on the top of my head. We're fully in alignment with that this body is without hair. And so we announce when we know who we are, we know who we are. We don't have to keep reminding ourselves who we are. And so this asking for guidance is a beautiful intermediary step that I feel very comfortable going to now whenever there's a sense of being confused. Because when I'm confused, it's an indication that I'm hanging out in a space of not knowing who I am. And so I'm using the bridge to rest as who I am, or I'm going to the attunements, or I'm talking to God, whatever I'm doing. And how long am I going to do it? Until I know it as well, until I no longer have to announce it, the way Paul doesn't have to announce he's bald. So I just, those are the two things that were coming up for me as I was listening. And that's what I got. Thanks, Rana.
Terrific, Cindy. Thank you. We do have a couple minutes if anybody's feeling prompted, like William.
Well, I sure love hearing everything today. And I know how I came into the course through all my biblical resistance to that, the Bible and all. And I think what really opened my willingness to even entertain the course was Judith Scutch's Journey Without Distance, because that seemed more I could grasp that. That made sense to me. The Course in Miracles, it was too far. It was too far. I couldn't handle it. It made sense. I wanted it. It was a great comparison to the Bible that I'd been so resistant to. But I just couldn't make the bridge. And so the Journey Without Distance, it was like, oh, now I can handle that. And that's where I think the door opened for me. The other thing I really want to share, it's like a light switch. And this has just been resonating with me this morning. I heard Southpaw, somehow something clicked. It's turning a light switch on. Now, but it's almost like it's paradoxical. Who I am, it's like Santa Claus. I see, I turned the light on, and there's no Santa Claus. There's no William. There's no nothing out there. Everything that I've been saying with my five senses. But it's like, and then all I have to do is turn the light switch off to what I'm thinking is me. And that's who I am. That's the knowing. That's the beyond what I thought was me. So it's like in the now, in the now, in the now. I can't see it. I just know it. I know it. I know it. It's like sliding from the word awareness. It's just knowing. It's there. And all I have to do is switch the light on or off. And it's that simple in what I'm seeing. I need do nothing. Boy, those words, they mean a whole lot more than they ever meant. They just go on and on. It's that light switch. So somehow, and it really doesn't really matter if anybody understands, because something in me knows, and I just feel it. That's why I love hearing stories, but oftentimes I'm not hearing the words even. It's just the music, it's the feeling. It's like, oh, I love it. I love it. I don't try to make sense out of it sometimes. It's just I love just being in the now with it. So thank you all. I love everything about it.
Thank you, William. So that's been a whole hour we've spent together. John, do you have some final words for us?
Let me just say that thank you, William, because when you said something in me just knows, and that kind of speaks to I need do nothing, where we started off today, because and it's so easy to say I don't know this and I don't know that, but there is something inside me that already knows, and just to remember that, especially on Mondays when Amy comes in and shows us a big agenda and stuff like that. But on Monday morning, everybody's got a big agenda for the week and our productivity, what's going to happen, blah blah blah. So just to be reminded that oh my God, something in me knows how to just chill out. So I love it. You said that, William. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.